In today's satsang, we will start with Ulladu Narpadu of Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi. Bhagavan is the greatest scientist, the greatest of all. He has brought it as a science of the absolute, the science of the self, the science of the truth, the science of the reality. In these 40 verses, this is called What is in 40 verses. The whole of the spirituality, the essence of spirituality is laid down here by Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharishi powerfully, authentically. It has to be lived through. This is what the greatness of all these verses. It is very direct. It is not bound by any religion. It is beyond religion. It is beyond the human being. Why again and again the word beyond I have been using is because it directly brings out the truth that exists in our deep sleep state. That is the main thing. In our deep sleep state, no one exists separately. One has to get up to identify himself with his physical body, form, and that name, and that family, and that language, and that religion. Everything follows, everything takes place only in the waking state. When one wakes up from deep sleep, all these identifications emerge out of him, basically with the first identification as that form being identified as that person. That is the thing. So the whole religious structures of the world follows only later on. He directly delves at the heart of the issue. The heart of the issue is the I identifying in each one of us, emerging out of deep sleep with the physical body, and all identifications follow that. The first I feeling, still under the blanket, we have not fully woken up from deep sleep. The feelings of the waking state are the thoughts, are the compulsions, are the assumptions of an entity, of a person, of an individual is yet to arise, but a feeble feeling basically identifies with that location as that form. With that, everything pops up. All the ideas, all the thoughts, all the compulsions, all the karmic actions, everything follows that. So, he as a scientist of the spirit, divinity, the divine order, he directly takes hold at the very root itself as to what is this I feeling which emerges, which is non-existent in our deep sleep, and which emerges from deep sleep, and the whole structure of cosmos is built around it by each individual. Otherwise, there is no existence of cosmos at all. All these verses scientifically leads us to investigate our truth, our true nature, our essential nature directly, without leaning onto anything at all, because the whole investigation has to take place in each one of us within oneself. I cannot do it for you. You cannot do it for your son, daughter, mother, father. No one can do this for anybody else. One has to do for himself, by himself. A grand opening is given in the very first verse, Mangala Venba, very auspicious Seyul or Sloka, that is what they say, Venba in Tamil, very auspicious. He starts with isness, is-nes. Isness pervades the whole of the cosmos. Cosmos is very trivial in front of isness. The whole of the cosmos never realizes that it exists, basically. Does the world come and tell us as if it exists separately? Or our mind binds itself with the worldly things through its emotions, feelings, thoughts, memories? How it takes place? The moment we say world, we are also included in it. The moment we say world, energies, forces, subatomic particles, grandest of the star, everything is included in it, including us. Be it psychology, be it spiritual seeking, whatever be it. But who is the perceiver in this world? Except a human being, the intellect of a human being. Does any animal perceive the world as it is separate from it? It is one in the world, it is merged in the world, as we are merged in our deep sleep, without a separate form, without a separate physical body and name. In the same way, up to the level of five-sensed animals, whole of the existence is in isness itself, without even objectively perceiving it. They exist. They are all in that isness. Naturally, they are all in the isness. Isness of what? Isness itself is the matrix. Of whole of this existence. And isness itself is the existence also. Isness doesn't exist simply like a space, an empty space which we perceive in the sky. Easiness is permeated in and through by easiness, and space and the whole of the cosmos is easiness itself. That is why in the very first verse song in Mangala Venba, he questions the individual's mind. How can the individual mind, which is an offshoot, which comes out of that easiness, how can it, as an observer, does something to perceive that totality, the truth? It never leaves, the easiness never leaves anything outside of it. The easiness is our passing thought. The easiness is our passing feeling. The easiness is our complete memory. The easiness is all our perceptions. It is a medium. Mind is a medium. How can the medium see its source? How can it see? How can it go to the extent of meditating on it? What does all these statements lead to? First, understand. Understand. Don't jump into meditation. Don't jump into doing something as an individual. This has been the disease of the mind. This has been the disease of the mind ceaselessly. Jumping into some action, even thinking is taken as something to do with. I am going to do meditation on the absolute. Who is this I am doing meditation, a process of the mind, a capacity of the mind to focus, concentrate, doing something, applying awareness, and converting it as an objective knowledge, objective inference, objective assumption, as if through one idea I am traveling, walking, trotting a path, reaching another idea or another thought. How can this objectivity exist in that? Fundamentally, he questions the very existence of a thought, a feeling, a doer, a thinker, a meditator. How can he exist? If one says, I am meditating on the absolute, completely has not understood anything about the absolute nor about the meditation. It cannot be apprehended by doing something, concocting with some thoughts and trying to grasp control over it, the absolute. He uproots the very basis of the existence of a thinker, a separate thinker in us. That means, what does he say? At the outset, Bhagavan begins with, everything is complete. We have to underline the word, no one has to do anything here to be that. The Veda Vakya, Tat Tvam Asi. You are that. What is the meaning of that? You is equal to that. That is equal to you. Or that is equal to I am. I am is equal to that. They is equal to that. That is equal to that. This is equal to that. You put in front of that is equal to any word. That is only that. Already that. Complete. Fulfilled. Arrived. What does the verse convey here? What does it demand here? First understand the nature of reality, the truth. The truth is Sat. In Tamil, beautifully the words have come out of Bhagavan. We will go into the verse first. Ulladaladu ulla unar உள்ளதோ உள்ள பொருள் உள்ளலர உள்ளத்தே உள்ளதால் உள்ளமெனும் உள்ள பொருள் உள்ளலிவன் உள்ளத்தே உள்ளபடி உள்ளதே உள்ளல் உணர். Everything, the whole of the verse is immersed, submerged in one word. Again and again, repeatedly, it comes in all the places. Ulladu. Ulladu means that which is. What is. That which is. That which is. The very easiness. Easiness is devoid of things. Easiness is devoid of quality. Easiness can never be blemished, corrupted, tainted. One cannot, there is no question of one. That one also is already in that. The moment we say one person, an individual, it is related to his birth, death, existence, non-existence. Non-existence, existence, all these words go irrelevant in that word Sat. What is the state of our existence in deep sleep? See, without bringing in deep sleep, one cannot realize the nature of the self, the truth, the reality. Ulladu, Sat. One cannot attain self-realization at all. It is not one lower self marching towards the higher self and attaining it. In the higher self, that is what is this Sat, that is what is this Ulladu. In that everything exists. He authoritatively questions, how can one approach that supreme consciousness, Sat, Ulladu, what is, with a thought? A thought is an individual. A thinker is an individual. How can he, using this, sitting in a corner with his eyes closed, do something to become that? His physical body, his psychologically, his mind, the space of the mind, all his thoughts, all his memory, all his essence, all his energies. It is not only his energies, the 5 basic elements which permeates this cosmos. Can we escape space, the sky? the empty space. Is it possible? Is it possible? In the same way, one can do nothing about attaining that or knowing that. The very doer is an hindrance. He is an impediment in the path. How are we in deep sleep? Immediately. Bring that always to reference. One is not even aware one is alive or dead. Then only he should be a man or a woman or belonging to a particular caste, community, name, form, parents, this, society, world, and all his mind group. Mind group follows. These are all the things of the waking state. Whatever be the might in society, or as skills, or as capacities, one may enjoy during the waking state. One cannot enter that sanctum sanctorum of realization. In Bible, the statement comes like this: the entrance to my kingdom is very narrow. Very narrow. One cannot enter that. What does it communicate? It says, drop. I itself is a hindrance. I as identifying this form and this name and this capacities, these skills, this social status which it has got here. Leave everything. Leave everything means what? It is happening. Realize that fact. It is happening in everyday deep sleep. Realize that fact. This is what Bhagavan in the very first verse, emphasizes. Understand. For that, unbiasedly investigate yourself. This investigation anyone can do. There are no adjuncts. There are no criteria. A sane, a healthy mind hastily has to do this. A healthy mind. First, the nature of a healthy mind is first to do this investigation. Who am I first here? Let me be called by name or profession or social status or skills. Those are all identifications of the ego. Basically, who am I? There is a concrete state into which everyone disappears every night. That state says your whole of waking state paraphernalia of identifications are not needed here. I will rejuvenate you physically, psychologically. If one has a good sleep, how much one is rejuvenated? How much one is refreshed? How every one of us likes to get into sleep, have a nice sleep, disturbance-free sleep. Because our essential nature is that which exists as ourselves, as everything of this cosmos in our deep sleep state. We are really that one. That is why the Veda Mahavakya says, you are that, everyone is that, everything is that. It is communicated by a guru to his disciple when he has matured fully. The very basis that ulladu, what is the Sat. Yes, he is dealing with this in the very first verse. உள்ளது அல்லது உள்ளதாகிய பொருள் ஒன்று இருந்தால் அன்றி, if the very existence or non-existence, everything is related to only a human individual, a human being. These are all ideas of a human being. It is transcending all ideas of a human being. That is why it transcends the complete knowledge that has been accumulated by humanity. It transcends all knowledge because it is factual. Our deep sleep existence is factual. Truth, existential. Whoever, whatever he may be or she may be, everything disappears in deep sleep. And when we get up, we know whether we have slept nicely or we have not slept nicely. Because it is existentially every moment of the deep sleep experience is being undergone by each and every one of us in deep sleep. We don't seek someone's acknowledgement for our good rest, good sleep. We know pretty well whether we have slept or we have not slept properly. We were disturbed by thoughts again. Who else? Thoughts, emotions, responsibilities, this, that, all the things of the waking state. That is what he says. Basically, there is this consciousness as awareness, non-locational. But in an individual, it is the core point of his being, very being. For an individual only, in an individual only, it is being referred to as Hridaya, heart. Because it is all encompassing. Compassion comes out of all encompassment. There are no differences at all. And the experience of everyone's deep sleep is identical. But we miss to investigate. We don't investigate. Where we are not giving attention, all the jnanis, great sages, they only live in that. Because that is the platform we have to culture. In Tamil, I had given 3 satsangs by the Mahayoga of sleep without really sleeping. One can master the mind and transcend. Live like a king, live like an emperor. In Narayana Suktam also, there is a statement comes like this: Saha Indraha, Saha Arihi, Saha Parama Aksharaha Paramaswarat. Paramaswarat. Paramaswarat means who is there? He is an emperor. He lives like an emperor. What is spirituality? Spirituality is exploring what is consciousness, how out of that consciousness, this personal consciousness called ideas, thoughts, memory, time, space, and the whole of the grandest cosmos comes out of it. From where else it can come? It comes from deep sleep. That is the abode, our Hridaya. Our Hridaya is suffused. It takes bath in the pure energy of awareness. That is why we are refreshed. The path is very easy, but understanding is needed. Conviction is needed. Conviction on that one isness, one singularity, only isness, Sat. And it is not functioning with intelligence. Intelligence is not a different function of isness. It itself is intelligence. Sat itself is intelligent. It is not a factor or a function or a capacity. Naturally, it is alive, intelligent isness. This is what Bhagavan says. If does that one supreme consciousness exist, or an individual identifying himself as I am, or I am alive, or I am talking, or I am walking, or I am eating, or I am sleeping. All these are all identifications. I amness itself, I am so and so. If I say, I have to tell my name. That very I amness is a layer we are constantly imprinting on it. In our waking state, it exists. It is like a whiteboard on which you put the marker, start writing something. The moment you put the pen, beneath that mark, ink mark, the whiteboard disappears. Whiteboard is also a hard surface, glossy surface. It is not even like that. It is like space. This consciousness is like space, and it is so pure. Nothing can blemish it, nothing can stain it, nothing can taint it. That is why, with each passing thought during our waking state, we casually identify as I need that, I don't need that, I have to go, I will come. This I word is innately thought about, done about, worked about. Because in the core, the reservoir of pure consciousness, it is in a tiny dot. That is why an individual with the sixth sense, up to the five sensed animals, they are not endowed with that. That is why the very eminence, the very purpose of existence of the sixth sense called intellect is only to deal with this. Whatever you do with the intellect as thoughts or feelings towards the outside world, seeking something outside of you, outside of your core, drains you fully. That is why whole of the waking state drains us. More harm is done. But in withdrawal, going back, if the intellect does that work as to who really am I, from where am I originate, from where am I emerge, not dealing with things which are all coming out of it, but who comes out of it, whose consciousness is this, who talks within, who chatters within, who does anything here at all within. So fundamentally, he lays the platform. He has laid the platform that without a pure consciousness, even your identification, your existence, will you ever feel? This is what he questions first. உள்ள பொருள் உள்ளலற உள்ளத்தே உள்ளதால், உள்ளதாகி அந்த சத்திய பொருள் மனத்தின் எண்ணங்களற்ற இதயத்தில் இருப்பதினால் இதயமென்று கூறப்படும் அந்த உண்மை பொருளை தியானிப்பவன் எவன், தியானிப்பது எப்படி? How it exists? Simply, immediately refer deep sleep. It exists without thoughts. It exists without experiences, past experiences. There is no sense of time as past, present and future as we divide in our waking state. We plan as if to save this structure, to secure this structure. We divide psychology in time as past, present and future. Yesterday I suffered. Tomorrow I should not suffer. Take steps today. All these mental gymnastics start arising in one because of his identification in the wrong place. What is that wrong place? Taking the body and name as something real, overriding that which is real, which exists on its own, which gives enormous energy, strength for both the body and mind. That's Sat. One ignores that. So he takes us back. He leads us to the core. In you, in me, in whole of the humanity, it emerges as the heart, but without thoughts, without feelings. A silence like deep sleep, a stillness like deep sleep. It is the core of us. It is the true self. It is the only highest self. In sleep, there are no different selves. Everyone is fast asleep. Whole of the humanity, half of the humanity sleeps throughout the world. Because for those half who are in daytime, for the other half it is night. So half of the humanity sleeps. Out of 7.5 billion people, almost more than 3.5 billion people sleep. There are no different selves because of different bodies. Only one self, one heart. That is why spirituality is very easy. The easiest thing is realizing ourselves. Only one needs patience, tolerance, an urgency, sincerity, earnestness, urgency. Because it is so simple. One has to lend his ears, heart, not through ears alone. Heart, the very heart has to listen to this. Because that is the center of each human being. The center without a mind that exists during our sleep is the platform. That is the heart. That heart has to realize that it it exists because of that. The heart itself is the absolute. The heart itself is the Sat. The heart itself is the truth. The heart itself is the moksha, the transcendence. You cannot even say near. It is immediate. That is why our getting into sleep is also can never be marked in time. When I slept, when I have woken up, these 2 points, one cannot capture it. One cannot locate it in time. Somehow it engulfs us. Suddenly we are fast asleep. So natural. It is more powerful than our mind. Death is far more powerful than physical birth. Disappearance of thoughts are far more powerful than the emergence of thoughts. One needs tremendous interest, sincerity, urgency, because knowing this, one transcends this mind, which is an illusion, a basic illusion, moment to moment illusion, which has been continuing timelessly. Since each one is identified with his body, he says he is caught in mind. He is caught in the duality, the pairs of opposites of mind. He says he has to attain that, he has not yet attained it. All these statements, how does one can speak? Who is the speaker? If one knows the speaker, one cannot speak at all. Such is the power of the core, because it thwarts all attempts of the mind, ideas. So our core is that stillness that exists as our hearts during every day's deep sleep. That is the Sat. Out of which, because it is not only the container of our essence, our mind, it is the container of the whole of the cosmos, time, space. There are no different dimensions at all. It pervades in and through and exists as them also. Such is the power of that. It contains all the powers of all the things. How a flower has to blossom, what is the amount of energy that is required by a flower for its blossoming? What is the energy with which your kid, 2 years old kid, comes and smiles and talks to you? What is the kind of thought or word configurations that passes through that kid, and it comes and hugs you, talks to you? It is also a movement, no? It is a movement of energy, Shakti. The unmanifest cosmos, still in the invisible, does it not undergo all this tiniest processes, tiniest energies working in that? So that is why heart is the place from which the whole of the cosmos through our ego comes out. That ego is mind. That ego is the knot between that Sat, the core, or our heart, because core is the heart. Core is that. Core is Sat. Core is truth. Core is self, the highest self. Purushottama. And this side, the complete, including our body, sensations, feelings, intellectual vagaries, all these things are all jada. Between these two, a knot is laid. A knot takes place. That knot is ego, that contains this complete supreme cosmos. That is why there is no direct way at all to annihilate the mind. We can only investigate and lead up to that by the help of Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi and wait there, because it knows every movement of us, the sincerity of us, the earnestness of us, the urgency of us. It comes rushing. If you take one step, it takes a lakh steps and comes and hugs you, embraces you. It is so easy. A conviction, an urgency, sincerity, earnestness. That is what is required. So, that core heart, that Parabrahmam, that Sat exists in us as our heart, which stays there by our side, which has always been there. In everyday sleep, not only in sleep, the gap between the previous death and the next birth, it is there. There are divine domains between previous death of the previous body and the birth of a new form. Between that there are divine domains. In that also it guides us. It has always been. That is why it is called as Sat, existence. Existence means, it doesn't mean this cosmos, the existence of the cosmos. No. Universes, all this. It is beyond that. They don't exist because they have no self-luminosity. Only that has. That is the only intelligence that permeates everything. Nothing is intelligent here, including the human intellect. That is why the purpose of the sixth sense, intellect in us, is to seek our source and merge in it, drown in it. He says, how can one meditate on that heart? Because meditator is a lower faculty. It is the intellect who decides to do something and to capture it. How can he exist separately? First let him understand he is non-existent. He doesn't have self-luminosity. He is being given continuously the light for the perceptions of his all five senses, and to the analysis of the mind, and to the judgment of the intellect. The light is constantly shed, given by that truth, Sat itself, through all directions, in and through all directions, even in your brain or mind or whatever you call it. Because we are basically not the body. We are that. So that only gives light to each and every speck of space. And it exists as space. It exists as inert objects also. It exists as our sincerity also. Our earnestness also. That is why the path is very easy. If you have that earnestness, the sincerity, the urgency in realizing yourself, Bhagavan takes us there. Royally he takes us there. He shows the shortest, quickest path, the immediate path. Moksho hi nama nayeva anya swarupa pratanam tat. That means what? Self-realization means, realizing the truth means what? It is nothing but the immediate, spontaneous, instantaneous awareness that is engulfing us as well as the Brahmanda, the universe. Immediate awareness. The very idea of seeking it is almost trying to see it outside of us. That is not the root at all. The root is within. That is why we have to live within, be in the immediate vicinity, the immediacy of that truth. That is what Bhagavan says. அது உள்ளத்தில் உள்ளத்தே உள்ளபடி உள்ளதே உள்ளல் உணர். How it is, be as it is. Don't do. The doer is the problem creator. He is the impediment. He is the hindrance. Know that doer is a non-existent one. When he returns, he is made to return only by the same consciousness during his waking state, to undergo all his ordeals, because he is stuck to that. He has bound himself with all the differences, the dualities of all kinds of dualities, spiritual, psychological, physical, what not, all the dualities are existing in him. Since he has bound himself to that compassionate one, the core one, even gives that to him. Okay, you say, you think this is very important to you, all these differences you need. Okay, be the body, be the intellect, be the mind, be the ego, be the senses, be time and space. Involve yourself in this world, which will not lead you anywhere, because they are not the truth. You are the truth. With this, we will end this satsang. I will attach that a meditation with bell sound that was given with this satsang. Again and again listen to this satsang. Delve in this, the essence of this satsang. With eyes closed, do the meditation with the bell sound. What does it remain? The bell sound, what does it remain? It remains you to be within the truth. Don't do anything. Just be. Just like the deep sleep, just be. And eventually, we will get into that other satsang, that is, by the Maha Yoga of sleep without really sleeping also. That we will take it in the English version also. You can do that meditation also. We will meet in our next satsang.